Take it away, Laura.
All right, thanks, Ben. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the January 2024 edition of the St. Lawrence County Chamber's Lunch and Learn webinar series. I'm Laura Pearson, Workforce Development Coordinator of the St. Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce. This monthly educational webinar series is made possible by the generous support of St. Lawrence University and Clarkson University, who are leadership circle supporters of the Chamber. I would also like to thank Ben Dixon, Executive Director of the St. Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce, for his tech support and assistance during this webinar. Before I introduce today's presenter, I want to run through a few things. First, your mics have been muted and your webcams have been disabled. But if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to type them into the chat window and we will do our best to answer them. Please note that the session is being recorded for the purposes of broadcasting it on our webinar archive and YouTube channel, which is named SLC Chamber NY. After the presentations are complete, we will open the floor for any Q&A. We do keep the webinars to under an hour so you can get back to work. Are you interested in presenting or have a topic you would like to see us present? Please contact us. So I would like to introduce our two presenters today, Bianca Christian and Lori Sheffield, Lori, from the St. Lawrence Lewis BOCES, who will discuss the work-based learning program benefits to you and the students and how your business can become a work-based learning site. Welcome, Bianca and Lori, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you for having us. I am going to share my screen. All right.
So our goals today are going to help understand how we can work together to bridge that gap from school to the workforce. As you all know, we're from the St. Lawrence Lewis BOCES Career and Technical Education Department. So we work with 11th and 12th graders from every school in the county. Bianca, I'll let you switch the slide. And I just wanted to share some of our overarching goals really quick as a BOCES for career and technical education. And I won't read to you, but we really strive to prepare our students to be competitive in the world market. We've taken new efforts to increase the safety. All of our students that are in industry related careers have the opportunity to get their OSHA certification before they leave us. All of our career pathways are tied to some form of an industry certification. So they come with that stamp of approval saying that they have been exposed to not only the safety elements within their career field, but also equipment that they would be using in industry in that field. Metalworking, for example, they are all in their welding. They're taking the Department of Transportation welding exam and bridge testing. And so I just wanted to share really quick what our mission and vision are and where we are working toward.
So for our whole entire county, we have 18 school districts that we service, divided among 3 different tech centers. So we have one tech center that is Southwest Tech that is located in Fowler outside of Governor. And then we have another one out in Norwood, which is Seaway Area Technical Center. And then our last one is in Ogdensburg, and that's Northwest Tech. So these are our schools.
The difference between approved programs and non-approved programs. This is our list of approved career and technical education programs for New York State. And next to the program that's an approved program is the abbreviation for the Technical Education Center where they exist. We also have an Agricultural Studies Academy that's partnered with Cornell Cooperative Extension, located right on the Cornell Cooperative Extension farm. And the students over there, they have heavy units in veterinary vet tech. They have diesel mechanics as part of their curriculum, as well as maple industry and just how do you make money within an agricultural industry is really a huge focus at the Ag Studies Academy. An approved program is a 2-year program for juniors and seniors, where at the end of that 2 years, they have our staff signs off saying they've met specific work-related skills. They've taken industry exams, and they have the opportunity to get New York State technical endorsement. We do have a few programs that are not approved programs at our tech centers. We have New Visions programs, which are for seniors in our local areas. We have an education program that is a New Visions seniors. We have medical careers, which is New Visions. They're seniors entering any kind of medical career pathway, and they get an opportunity to go right over to hospitals and sit in surgeries and shadow along with people in possible careers that they want. We also have a farm tech and a nurse assist course over at Southwest Tech, and some programs for students that are on alternate pathways to graduation, but still really require hands-on job-related skills. We wanted to take a second to point out that there are some programs within our BOCES that are not career and technical education. Those programs also go out on work sites. They have job shadows. They have people that go along with their students. Many of them come out of our special education department, but I don't want to confuse them with our career and technical education students who have direct industry training. The Greenhouse program at Northwest Tech, our transitional services, which is countywide, and our community connections programs are those three programs. So we did a survey we have a local needs assessment going on in our BOCES right now. And so this is just a slide that says, how do we involve you? If you want to be part of the industry and the planning, how do we involve people from business and industry in career and technical education? And these are all the ways. And as you can see on this chart, work-based learning programs hosted, shadowing opportunities hosted by your business. And then the other category really falls into being a guest speaker, coming and sharing some of your skill sets with our students. So that's how you can be involved in career and technical education or get to the incoming workforce of the juniors and seniors. So really quick check-in. Are there any questions about who we are as career and technical education, who we serve, and what we do?
You can feel free to ask questions, raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask a question or throw it in the chat.
Okay.
Hearing none, I'm assuming that
going
word
once,
of
going
mouth has gotten
twice.
you.
All right. So we'll talk about how we do what we do. So WBL, you're going to see WBL a lot in this, or it's work-based learning. It's so learning that results from students engaging in hands-on. So we want to see our students engaging with the businesses. We have a few programs that would only be observation only, such as our cosmetology, our nurse assisting, unless they're on clinical. So there are some things that are just observation, but for the most part, we want our students at businesses where they can do hands-on, and they're receiving the safety training and working with the equipment at BOCES already. So that's what we're doing. We want to increase that knowledge and those skills. And we have multiple different types of work-based learning. So there's internships and co-ops. So those are the ones that are the hands-on. They can be paid or unpaid. Job shadowing, industry-based projects, community service, and volunteering. The next slide, we're going to kind of go between internships and co-ops versus job shadowing, so you can kind of know the difference. The only other piece on here I really want to touch really quick is industry-based projects. So what that is say you have something going on in your business that you think would be great to bring to us. You could bring to us and our students could discuss it and give you maybe a solution. So it might not be something you want us to actually solve for you. It just could be an issue. Could be, you know, you're doing this and this and you need a solution in your shop. So you would bring it to, say it's a metalworking issue. You bring it to our metalworking teacher and we can see if we can work that into our actual curriculum. So different industry-based projects. Say your place has a vehicle and you need it looked at because there's an issue with it. We take it to our auto tech. So because it's coming from a business, it's an industry-based project that comes inside. So that's that before we jump into really what's the difference between our two main, the co-ops and the job shadowing. So internships and co-ops, these are the more hands-on. These are hands-on, they're paid, optional up to the businesses. It has to be tied to their CTE program. So if I've got a student that is in culinary arts, we can't send them to work on the farm unless it's working with food production. So it has to tie to their thing at some way. You're not going to send a metalworking program off to work in a restaurant, things like that. Every student is required to get their working papers if they're under 18. We do have liability insurance. We require a memorandum of agreement. The teachers will visit the site. So that means once we get a hold of you and we talk and we all decided we're going to send the student to you, we would do all the paperwork, and then once the student is there, there will be different visits that the teacher makes. They'll come in and check on the student randomly, check with you to make sure everything's there. It could be phone call, it can be in person. There'll be different levels of visits depending on the class. And then each student is recommended by their teacher for work-based learning. So it's not necessarily a given that they have to be able to go out and do the co-ops. We want everyone to do them, but if we have a student that behavior-wise or attendance or anything
Skill
that we,
set,
yes,
right,
skill
just
set,
not skilled yet.
if they are not going to be positive, so we won't send them.
So one of the things we are working on, in the past, many of you that have had work-based learning students, our model in the past has been the month of May, they're out and they're working in the field for this month. But we've really tried to say, let's not narrow it down to just 1 month of this school year. If they are ready and there's an opportunity in industry, let's open it up. So we may have a criminal justice student. We had a great example, a day at the farm event that was over the summer. And it was at the farm out in St. Lawrence Central Brazier area. And they needed some students who were safety trained to help with parking. So we had some students who were criminal justice students, skill set had been signed off on. They got in their uniforms and they came that very first weekend of school, and they spent the entire day helping with the safety and parking lot and welcoming guests. So work-based learning doesn't have to be just one time frame in a year. If you have opportunities or needs, if we have students that we feel are safe and ready, we can send them any time of the year if your opportunity is there. Metalworking is a great example of that. We already have a rotation of students going out to a variety of places, Power Authority and others, on a rotational basis because there's an opportunity for them. And that way it's more than one student getting that opportunity over the course of the year. What we won't do is sign off on them before they're ready.
Yes, that's absolutely. So the big thing, job shadowing. So our cosmetology students, there's a few other, our New Visions medical professions. There's a few of them that are just job shadowing only. And that means they can't touch anything. They can't sweep the floor. They can't do anything. They're solely there just to watch. Those are definitely going to be unpaid. They can vary a little bit from their program if we need to. And then same thing with the working papers, liability, memorandum of agreement, all the rest is the same. So we're still going
So,
to
right.
recommend them.
Our New Visions medical careers would be a good example of that. When they're going out and observing a knee surgery at Claxton Medical Center, it's a great opportunity for them, but they are job shadowing. They are not touching anything and they are only observing. Cosmetology falls into that category as well, simply because it's a New York State licensed program. And until they have their New York State licenseship, they're not allowed outside of the supervision of their classroom to put hands on customers because they are not New York State certified. So we still want to get them out into a setting where they can experience it and see the real life, make sure it's for them. But job shadowing, it's for everyone's safety, that job shadowing exists for some programs over other programs.
Absolutely. So this is just a little bit, what counts as work-based learning hours for us. our students have to get a minimum of 54 hours by the end of their 2 years. Okay, so we can use things as their internships, co-ops, their job shadowing, which 34 of those hours we would like them doing their either an internship or job shadowing outside of BOCES with a business. Certifications and trainings, we log those, so they're OSHA, they're SPO2, if they do ServSafe, if they do CPR, any of the certifications that they do should be, we'll log in our system. Community service and any volunteering, so that's kind of what they do there. And then industry-based projects, again, if this cosmetology class is a salon day, if, you know, right now we have actually, one of the hospitals is working with one of our graphics communications programs, and they're saying, we need a flyer for this. Our graphics kids are creating it and sending it over. So that's another really good example of industry-based projects there. So go on to the
Okay,
next.
that's a lot so far. Any questions at this moment?
I don't have any yet.
Okay. So like Bianca said, our goal is, as close to 100% of our students as possible getting out into a work-based learning or internship setting, based on our recommendations and where their skill levels are. What it does allow, like, for example, a building trades student, the summer between, if we sign off on enough skill set, if we feel like they are employable enough on their employability skills checklist that we have for every program, then a teacher could sign off saying that this student is ready for an internship or a co-op, and it would adjust if there was our agreement with your business, then it would open up the ability to hire a 17-year-old in a construction trades industry, even though the Department of Labor says that is too young. So I'll let other people kind of chime in on that question, that statement a little, but there is even the opportunity, if we have a junior entering senior year, that a teacher feels it has enough employability that they sign off on an employability standard, it would open up the opportunity for work-based learning or internships even over summer hours that may count, or as part-time jobs to support industry that would count toward the field. And it means that if they're in a certified career and technical education program, that the Department of Labor guidelines for those working papers, as long as our teachers are comfortable signing off, it changes the requirements for you. So I'll let that sit in a little too, if there's any questions on that.
All right.
Is there another slide, or is this it, Bianca?
Oh, that's a good question. I think there's a couple.
Okay, so we'll keep going on to the next slide. I think that,
The next one.
yeah. So let's talk about how do you become a work-based learning partner? I want to talk about really quick and let Bianca chime in. We've had the programs where we've invited business partners to come and see our tech centers and see the learning in action. And I invite you all, we have one upcoming on the 23rd of January at Seaway Tech. They're called Business Connections, where you can come in and tour the tech center and see firsthand what our curriculum is, what our equipment is, what our students are learning in our programs, and how we can work together. What we found has happened from those business connections is our businesses are looking for entry-level workforce. And so by the time our students are getting ready to graduate, we're getting phone calls from our partners saying, we have these jobs. Do you have any students we can hire? We post the jobs, we share them with students, but by June, our students are already hired. If they're entering the workforce directly, they're already hired. And they're already hired by the businesses that they have their work-based learning in. If they're looking to enter directly into work from high school to work, and they actually want to work, then they're getting hired right off the bat through their work-based learning experiences. And so I just wanted to make sure that the businesses that are here today understood that essential pipeline. That if you're really interested in hiring our straight out of school graduates who are looking to be employed that have skills and standards, you may want to get in contact with us about how to become a work-based learning partner. Some of our partners see it as a test drive. You get to meet a student, have them working around you and with you, see if they're compatible with your industry before you hire them or before you offer them employment. We've heard several stories of success through our work-based learning partnerships. Every year at our graduation ceremonies, we announce where our students did their work-based learning partnerships. And we also announce their next steps, and the amount of students that are going right from working at Frenchie's for their internship to working full-time at Frenchie's is just one example of how many go right into it. We did offer a kind of a career day at Seaway at all of our locations last year. But our industry partners didn't have much success hiring because our students were already hired by the time we had it. So that's why we're having this today, is to really talk to you about how you can become a work-based learning partner and get students their senior year in to have real life experience and be a partner there. I will say, and Bianca can talk about this. Bianca, can you talk about the challenge we have with the number of businesses and the number of students?
Yes. So first, I do want to make a point. Just because you take a student, if you take a student for a work-based learning placement, you are not required to hire them. I just didn't want that to get misconstrued there first. Okay, so yes, our these business connections and the job fairs and everything we've done, we have the opposite, I think, issue of where you guys are. So you guys need these employees, and what's happened for us is we have all these businesses that want our students now, which is a good problem to have. I have all these businesses and I don't have enough students to fill those roles. And sometimes there's different things of, let me go to the next, because I think it'll kind of show. So it might be location. You might want students, and the only students I have that would fit into that job live in Star Lake and your business is up in Waddington. So it could be where our students are located. If we have students, and I know some of these you were talking about, Lori, was it the available work-based learning? So it could be that you're only open in the evenings. And we typically send our students in the morning during their BOCES time. So that's right around 8:30 to 11. But under different circumstances, certain ones we can make, we can change things a little bit if we need to. That would be something you would contact us and say, I really need a student, or I really would like one, but I can't meet those 8:30 to 11 timelines. Do you have anybody? Market competitiveness we had talked about. So there are a lot of businesses coming at us and telling us about all their jobs that they have, and I can push it to my students, but I can't make them see that as well. And if they've got some that are, we've had welding students walk out of here with $60 an hour jobs right out of high school. So sometimes the entry level jobs are not as appealing because they're getting offers that are higher in range. Transportation is a big one for a lot of our students. You may want a student I might not have on geographically that's located close enough to get to you. And
And
then
we're finding, along
Yeah.
with other trends, that our students just aren't driving at the same rate they used to. There's a lot of current research coming out about why our students aren't driving, but they aren't. And so if we're relying on district transportation to get them to places, it really narrows down who can go where.
absolutely. So that was that. And then this is kind of where we're at.
Yeah, we're just really trying to figure out, and we know, we recognize that you have a need for entry level positions. And we're just trying to answer your questions on, so how do I get in on that? So I think we would open up any dialogue to, okay, so you've presented this, but where do I start? Like Bianca said, we do We do not really have a problem right now placing our students for work-based learning. We're not presenting this because we have a need for partners. We're presenting this because we know that our partners have a need. So if you have a really unique opportunity, or you want to get in on how we have about 75 seniors graduating from our automotive technologies program this year alone. With 75 students graduating in the automotive industry, we know that we're trying to get them into shops for experience, but we also know that they have other applied experiences that may count. So how do you get into, say, Mr. L's at Seaway, I would really like to have one of these automotive students come to my dairy farm and be part of the diesel mechanic program, and you don't know how to get started there. That's where we can help. I did notice there was a question pop up in the chat. Thank you, Emily. She says, is there a place where we can see more information about the curriculum so we can think about how they may relate to our needs?
Now, I think that would be that is a good question. So you might not, maybe if we could meet and do a Zoom, I can tell you what we have. I can show you what we have. You could always come in and meet with us and you can see where we're at. I really think even if you come in on the 23rd, if you're able to get to that tour, that would be amazing at Seaway. But if not, please reach out, send me an email, and I can get you whatever you think. And maybe sometimes even just a conversation. We can talk about what your business does, and I might be able to tell you which programs I think might match up for you.
And another thing, our employability profile. So being a certified career and technical education program, every program has what we call an employability profile. It's pretty much a checklist of all of the standards that we're expecting these students to not only be exposed to, but master. And so it's on a scale of 1 to 4 for every student. It includes communication skills. It includes punctuality. It includes all of those skills, the employability skills, as well as, and in automotive technology, they need to be able to change a tire, devise, there's beads and there's so many things within each curriculum. They are open and public for sharing. So if you want any of those, I can make sure that we have some of those copies available at our business connections for people to review. If you chose to be part of our advisory boards, that's an interesting, I think that's another slide coming up, Bianca. That's an interesting way for businesses to really see what is actually being taught in our curriculums, and how can I change that curriculum. So there's two sides to that. We have to have partners from industry that are at the table with us twice a year. We join together and say, this is what our curriculum is. Does it meet industry need? And if it doesn't, where can we go? It's also our process of finding out where we need to grow. Are there programs that we should be offering for our county that we are not? We actually have an event coming up. It's our local needs assessment event, where we're inviting partners to the table to assess where we're strong as our overall BOCES and where we need to grow. And if any of you are interested in being part of that, it's a 2-part series with a visit to Seaway Tech. But that's where we're going to use that data to dedicate funding and maybe grow new programs. And so, we are very interested in meeting the needs and of our students and of our workforce. Like Bianca said, it always doesn't align. Sometimes, a vet tech program sounds super fun, but is it meeting industry need? And maybe it's a yes, and maybe it's a no. We need students to come, but we also need to meet your need. So advisory is a way to get deep into the curriculum, if that is really interesting to you. If you're just curious on how does it fit in, I would say Corning has been on some of our calls. Corning was looking for some entry level. Our welders fit into Corning, kind of. We know that they have a certain skill set, but they're not directly tied to what Corning's hiring for a work. We have a brand new electrical program. That would certainly tie to some of the industries that are looking for trades people with entry-level skills, building trades, HVAC technicians. They have skill sets that can apply to other jobs very nicely. We're also talking about, there's growth in conversation. So another thing that we're talking about just yesterday was could we offer a partnership to get civil service exams as an industry standard exam in some of our programs as an exit? Because students don't want to leave and then have to take another exam. It's the system that they don't understand. So if you're in a field that requires civil service exams, call Bianca, come to the table and have discussions on how we can work that, because could the experiences that they have in the 2 years with us count toward some of the experiences for civil service exam readiness? And I don't know if the answer is, but maybe if we don't ask, we can't get there.
Yeah. So that's what we have. I don't know if there's any other questions out there.
What barriers do you see from industry getting students into your work-based learning or into your what are your needs?
Feel free to put your comments in the chat, or you can unmute and ask and share your thoughts or questions.
Let me ask it this way. If we could offer any program in the world, what would you like to see us offer?
Hi, I'll just put in a quick word. I'm at the Silas Wright House. So we're a historic house and a history museum. And we always have a need for like work done on our historic building, and it's hard to find contractors and it's very expensive. So I don't know. I see you have a building trades program. I don't know if somehow that could align. We also have needs for like work on the grounds, fence maintenance, painting, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if they're sort of like one-time projects or things that may happen over a period of time, but I don't know if that would necessarily fit into the existing programs that you have.
I think it could, and I think it's something that we could definitely have a bigger conversation on and put it out there. And
The Silas Wright House is located in Ogdensburg.
We're in Canton
You're
on
in
Main
Canton.
Street.
Yeah.
We're very
that-
close to you guys.
so it'd be Seaway. So I
Yeah.
think that might be a possibility. If you could give me an email and we can set up a Zoom or a meeting in person, and we can go from there and see if that's a possibility or if they have students available.
So I think some of the possibilities just in that really quick quip, Emily, that come to mind is a field trip for our class to come over and see a historic building and just have that constructive talk through building trades of we do new builds every year. They build a house from nothing twice. So the seniors that are graduating have had the experience of building 2 houses from nothing. So that's a huge experience that they get. They don't get as much experience hands-on on old construction or renovation. And so immediately in that quick conversation, it would be, is there a possibility for our class to come and take a field trip and really discuss historical buildings and the differences between historical buildings and new construction? Is it, and then one of the caveats is our students aren't ready to work on their own, right? So they can work and they have the ability to work and they have a skill set, but they are not independent contractors yet. The understanding of the agreements is that they are still shadowing or working with someone in that field. And I think that that's an essential difference. They can come and they can work and they can go mow the lawn or help plant flowers or maintain shrubs under the supervision of whoever you have in that place already as an employee. And I think that that's an important distinction. Their sign-off employer has to really be in that industry. And that is a challenge for entities like you because you don't have a full-time person for that purpose. We just had another partnership with we had a partnership with the Cornell Cooperative Extension. They were in need of a little kitchenette, and our HVAC class from Northwest Tech came with their teacher. And so if the teacher is in charge of the project, then the students can participate. And so that's how we did that one, was the teacher was willing to come with a small group of students, and they led the project and completed that project at the Cornell Cooperative Extension Farm instead of being in class that day. So there's ways to work around it. Natural resource management students can easily help with landscaping, maintenance. Larry Ashley, our building trades teacher at Seaway that works with Canton, has partnered with United Helpers and has taken his students out there for some very in-depth landscaping and builds. And so I think that it's just getting people to the conversation.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'll send an email, a follow-up.
Yes, please.
And then I did see Emily had said DSP training,
Say what DSP training is.
direct service professional. It's kind of where,
You can fill me in.
I'm from the Arc
Okay,
Jefferson
okay,
St.
there you
Lawrence,
go.
and we have a program currently in place with BOCES, I believe, for students to come in and shadow our DSPs, which is direct support professionals.
Yes.
I don't know if we have this exact program up and running, but we found success with students shadowing and then hire them once they have completed school. So we've had great success from this program, and I've actually tried to connect with the BOCES in Watertown to see if we could get something similar up and running. But I've received pushback from them because they don't have a health services program. It's more nursing focused. So we've had great success from it.
So we talked about industry needs years back. We used to have an early childhood education program. So students were in for 2 years and then they exited with the ability to go into early childhood education career pathways. We said we can do better and we can do more. And so what we did was we took that curriculum in our county and it's our county uniqueness. 1 year they focus on human services, and that's when our juniors are coming to the ARC and learning and working with people with developmental delays and just social issues in general. And then the senior year, those students go into an education pathway, go to a local school district, and our goal is that they're leaving with their teacher assistant exam certification for New York State and the ability to determine which way they want to take careers, either in human service entity or an education entity. So that is unique to St. Lawrence County due to the need. And we're talking about that need even more. Could it be a 2-year program for the human services and return to the education portion? Yeah, I'll come get you. Thank you, Margot.
Yes, I would like to see maybe how
So
cerebral
industry
palsy.
does tie that.
So sorry to interrupt. I would love to see how that program, how my agency, Cerebral Palsy Association of the North Country, might be able to kind of get involved with that as well.
And so that program exists right now at Seaway and at Southwest Tech in Fowler. So it doesn't exist in the Ogdensburg area, but it does exist in the Seaway cluster and the Southwest cluster.
We've got residential houses in the Canton and Potsdam, Colton kind of areas. So I think we should be able to do something.
And as juniors, they can enter, and then if they do well for you and you like them, there's really nothing stopping from summertime employment.
That'd be great.
Absolutely. Yes, and Ben has been gracious enough. He put all my contact information in the chat for us. So
I've thrown a
please,
few things in the chat
Yes.
for people's reference. I did put in the link to the upcoming tour at Seaway Tech on the 23rd, I also put in Bianca's contact information and a link to the CTE programs so you can review those.
Stop sharing.
So I will say that we have more students than ever choosing not to work. And I would have to argue a combat for that is the more great opportunities that we have where they feel like they can really truly enter a workforce and be comfortable, the more they're likely to enter the workforce and be successful. There's many factors contributing to why people are choosing not to work or not to enter a workforce right now. But the more authentic and real and supported we can make these experiences, the more we can continue to grow that.
Bianca and Lori, we do have several people on the session today that are not in the St. Lawrence Lewis district.
Hi, Aviva.
Um,
Oh.
could you maybe speak to this kind of subject as applies to other districts?
Yeah, briefly. I can't speak for them. Our programs are
Just
different,
little general tidbits or
but
advice.
every program that is a New York State CTE approved program has work-based learning as an expectation and has a Bianca. Every program has to have a registered work-based learning program. They're not as lucky as us to have a Bianca, but they have someone in that role that should be taking over and helping facilitate these conversations and ensuring that businesses know that we're there, and getting students out. St. Lawrence County does amazing. Thank in part to Bianca's work, our teachers' work, and our business partners, where every year we have between 96 and 98% of our students going out on work-based learning experiences. Other BOCES in the state, they may be as low as, 20 to 30% because they're doing those in-class projects instead of getting kids out. So I think that your first step is reaching out to your local tech center, asking who their work-based learning coordinator is, and asking how you can be part of a work-based learning partnership. All of them have employability profiles. All of them have curriculums that they can share to see if you have a fit with what they teach. And all of them have someone in that same position as a Bianca. What would you add, Bianca? We can get to Jefferson, we can get to Jeff Lewis County from Fowler. We have students that live in
Yeah.
Star Lake. We have students that live
Governor.
like
We have-
Bonaparte, Governor toward Carthage. So we have Harrisville students in that logging industry. So we can get toward Lewis County some and Jefferson County with our entities out there.
And if for some reason they wanted to reach out to their local BOCES and they didn't know where to start or what the name of the tech center is, by all means, they can get a hold of me and I can figure out who they should go to versus where their area is.
Yeah.
Maybe see if I can figure out who their work-based learning coordinator is for them.
And we can't stress that, we are so interested in being flexible and creative.
Mhm.
We have a partnership with Kern Logging. Kern Logging can't put a student in a heavy piece of equipment. That's just not safe. And legally, it's scary. And so we can talk more about the insurance that we offer if we need to and some of that. But instead of doing an on-the-job training with Kern, we select very specific students that meet their requirements. We've spoken at length with Kern Industries about who they are looking for. We find those students and we give them that opportunity to go for a ride along with Kern Industry. They go for a full day, we get excused from school, and they sit in that car and they ride along with the people who own Kerns and talk about business model and talk about what they do and how they do it. And they get a feel for that person as an individual while they do the ride along for the day. And then it begets more conversation about what could a next step be. That's also entered into the world of scholarships for our students. The students who make the best impression with Kern Industries get a scholarship from Kern Industries to continue on their pathway and connect with them and get summer work and employment. It's really a beautiful partnership for Kern and for our students.
Yes, we have quite a few different ones that have bloomed into scholarship opportunities and just really great. I think I talked to the head of Peterbilt trucking last year and he was going on and on about how great the student was and the student had shown initiative and introduced himself and contacted him and he was just so impressed. So it's really nice getting those type of calls and those type of opportunities. So they offered to pay for his schooling and they wanted more of him. I didn't have any more to give of that exact student, but I wish some of them, I wish we could copy and paste, but so, yes.
Any other questions?
Okay.
All right, thank you so
Awesome.
much. Thank you,
Good.
Bianca and Lori. We will turn off the recording and open the floor for questions in case you want anything else.
All right.
Bianca and
you.
Lori, thank you for all your time and sharing your expertise with us today. Thank you for joining us today. I hope this hour was valuable to you and provided useful information on how you can utilize the work-based learning program to and help the BOCES students and develop valuable skills for joining the workforce. I would also like to thank Clarkson University and St. Lawrence University for their support in sponsoring this webinar series. Follow and like our Facebook page to stay up to date with what's happening at the Chamber. If you have a topic you would like to see presented or want to present, please let us know. We encourage you to view our other webinars in the Lunch and Learn series by going to slcchamber.org and clicking Archive Webinars in the right-hand menu, or go to our YouTube channel to search for SLC Chamber NY. Also, if you know of any businesses that would benefit from membership in the St. Lawrence County Chamber, please do refer them to us. We can be reached at 315-386-4000 and at info@slcchamber.org. Interested businesses can also learn about our benefits and apply for membership at slcchamber.org. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great afternoon. And I think we're done, Ben.
Okay, thanks all for joining. And if you have any questions pursuant to this, feel free to give Bianca a shout, or you can contact us at the Chamber. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys. Thanks, Lori
Bye.
and Bianca. I appreciate it.
Thank you.